alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Horizon TV. And as earlier mentioned before we went on our break, the discussion for today will be all about Tvet courses and the relevance in today's job market. And joining me in studio is the director of the Zetech University City campus, Mr. Patrick Njoroge. How are you, Mr. Peter?
I'm well, Nadia.
Yes, are you ready for the discussion?
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people will be learning a lot from today's discussion, me being one of them. And today's discussion is all about Tvet courses. For anyone who, let's just familiarize themselves with what is it exactly is a Tvet course.
Thank you so much. And our viewers, welcome for this discussion. When we talk of Tvet courses, it's important to understand that the Kenyan education system is divided into three. We have the basic education, which is from ECD all the way to secondary school. Then we have the Tvet, which is anything post-secondary and not university. And then we have the higher education, which is now university education. So the Tvet sector is where now we are discussing today. This is where people would do certificates and diplomas and other courses that are below the degree level. And mainly these are the people who have scored in our Kenyan grading system, who have scored below C+. Yes.
And let's talk about the first thing is to talk about, you know, the perception of Tvet education and how it has evolved over the years. And, you know, if there's any misconceptions, what are some of the misconceptions?
When we look at this Tvet sector, first of all, let's discuss how it has evolved in Kenya. Before, in some years back, I think before 2012, the Tvet sector did not have laws that were regulating it independently. The Tvet sector was put together with the basic education. It was being controlled or regulated through what we used to call the Education Act, Cap 211. But come 2013, as part of the Kenyan Vision 2030 developments, the Tvet Act was created, which now gave this sector its own laws to regulate it and to develop it. So we had now the new Basic Education Act, the Tvet Act, and the Universities Act. So it has evolved from 2013 all the way up to now. Of course, with that enactment of that act, we now got bodies like the Tvet Authority, which is mandated now to control the whole of the Tvet sector. We also had creations of bodies like Kenya National Qualifications Authority, which is the one that is now responsible for creating what we call the KNQF, or Kenya National Qualifications Framework, which is a framework that tells you for you to have a diploma, this is the minimum. For you to have a degree, this is the minimum. For you to come from certificate to diploma, this is what should happen. So it creates a very clear progression path. Of course, there were other creations, but that is how the Tvet has evolved. Of course, there was also the creation of CUPS, what we call the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, which is formerly JAB, that now also incorporated the students who are in Tvet to be placed by government and to be also to be funded. So those are developments that have seen the Tvet sector start having its space, its rightful space in the country. Of course, the Kenyan education system prepares people to go to university, which of course is the climax of education. Yes. But fortunately or unfortunately, it is not everybody who manages to go to the university. And so the perception has been, if you don't make it to university, it's like you are not, you know, at par with every other person. It's like you are, actually I would put in quotes, you are a failure, you know. It's like for you to be successful, you have to go to the university. And so all those students who finish Form 4 and do not make it to direct entry to university usually have that feeling of being a second hand. Yes. Or feeling that as we are the second lot, the cream goes to the university. So Tvet has been not having a very good name You know, even when somebody is going to do a certificate or a diploma, you know, he's not very proud.
Yes.
But with the developments that I've mentioned earlier, the Tvet has been given more right. Even the government has come very strongly to even encourage people to join Tvet. And we have seen this yielding fruits, because we have even seen some students who qualify for direct entry to university opting to start from Tvet. Simply because Tvet has its own strengths, and it has its own space in the economy and in its development. And therefore, people have started now accepting it. And people have started knowing that it is not only a university qualification that can give you a job or can give you a living. Even Tvet can offer those jobs.
Yes. And you've mentioned something about university qualifications. There are obviously university cutoff points, as I may say, that if you're not able to reach them, then you're not eligible to, you know, join university. And that puts down a person who's done with high school, you know, they're wondering what next with their life. Let's talk about what would you tell somebody who's probably wondering, I've not met the university requirement, what next?
That is a very important point, because when you look at the statistics, the KCSE statistics, actually over the years, you'll find that that group is over 70% of the candidates who sit for KCSE. They don't meet university qualifications. But now there is hope, because as I've said, when the Tvet Act came, it created space for those people. Nowadays, we no longer say that somebody failed or somebody, you know, your education reaches at Form 4 because you did not manage to go to university. There are programs starting all the way from artisan certificates. This is for people who scored D-. We have programs like craft certificates for people who scored D+ and D+. We have diploma programs for people who scored C and C-. And all these programs, regardless of whether you start from artisan or you start from diploma, as I mentioned, the Kenya National Qualifications Framework now gives a very clear progression path. Even if you got a D+ and you are to start from craft certificate, after that qualification you are eligible to join diploma. From that you are eligible to join a bachelor's degree. And you can move all the way up the ladder until you do your PhD. So there is hope for these people. There is no room now for feeling that you did not make it. All what we did in that exam is to measure our potential. So our potential is at C, for instance, and so you start your career development from C and move upwards.
Yes. And when we're talking about, obviously, the industry, the job market, we're seeing a lot of people are jobless and they're degree holders. What question does that, what question does that raise, especially now when we look at, obviously, the education sector in the country?
It is a sad state of affairs in our country that people finish their programs and do not get ready jobs in the market. Number one, Tvet comes in to fit into that gap. One of the characteristics, and what I would say the strongest characteristic of a Tvet program is that it is hands-on. That is why it is technical. It is hands-on, and therefore it prepares you not only to go and look for that job to be employed, but it creates an environment where now you can also go and start your own job. Take, for instance, people who do mechanical engineering, people who do electrical engineering, people who do welding, people who do plumbing. Those people will not go to look for jobs in factories or in offices. They are going and they are going to start their own enterprises out there and in fact employ other people. Therefore, these people who are out there and are jobless, there is a missing link between the skills that this person got from school and what the job market expects. That is usually what happens. And we usually say jobs might not be there, but there is always work to do. So if you are well skilled, you may not look for jobs forever. Because your mind has been trained to look for something to do. So joblessness is itself, of course, a state in the country because maybe our industries, our manufacturing industry and all that are not maybe up to par. But at the same time, It is a whole concept of mindset and
Yes.
how this person was put in school. Like in Zetech, what we usually do, all the programs we train, we give entrepreneurship education as part of a mandatory course.
Yes.
So that when you go out there, you are not only thinking of how you start dropping your CV in every other office. We have also prepared you to go and start your own business in whichever field, may it be IT, hospitality, finance, you know, counseling. You are able to learn yourself. So it is an issue of skills gap, and it's also an issue of how you are prepared to come from school. Are you prepared to go look for a job, or are you prepared to go and be an employer?
Yes. And let's talk about, you mentioned entrepreneur skills class being one of the mandatory courses in Zetech College. How else would you say that you prepare graduates for the job market?
Number one, I will start. Zetech University have programs that are designed from the initial stage. They are designed with the industry experts as part of the developers. We go out there, get experts. Let's say we are designing a program in, let's say, a diploma in accounting and finance, for instance, or a bachelor of economics and statistics. What is it that the industry, that you require these graduates require? So they are the ones who guide us through what we call occupational standards. They give us the requirements. If you want an accountant, this accountant must be able to do A, B, C, D at diploma level, at degree level. So that is the first stage. The programs we develop, the industry is part of the developers. The other thing is, when now we come to teach these students in class, we expose them. We get those industry experts. Let's say it is in IT. We would go to leading IT firms and bring an industry expert. Come and talk to our students, maybe in one of the lessons, and tell them, whatever you are learning in class, if it is IT systems, if it is programming, if it is networking, this is practically what is happening out there.
Yes.
So they are able to relate the lesson in class with the industry out there. The other thing, we also take these students for industrial visits. We now take them, we can take a group, maybe to a 5-star hotel, and show them the kitchen you have at Zetech University is similar to the kitchen you are seeing at this hotel, and you can see the people who are cooking and what is being prepared and how people are being served is the same skills that the teacher tries to impart in class.
Yes.
So we expose them. We also make sure that, because we want our graduates to be ready for the market instantly, we make sure that our curriculums are designed in a way that you have 70% practicals, 30% theory, in a way that this person will be more hands-on than a theoretical person. Because at that level, you expect this person to be able to do, not so much to think and conceptualize theories and all that. You want the hands of this person to be able to do. If it is a person going to work in hospitality industry, that person must prepare a meal.
Yes.
He doesn't need to think, he needs to prepare a meal. He doesn't need a lot of English to prepare a 3-course meal. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, if it is an IT engineer, he doesn't need a lot of English. What he needs is a lot of coding knowledge. So he's able to develop an app that is able to service a business need. That is usually what we do. At the same time, I've mentioned about the entrepreneurship training. We prepare them so that now even when they go out there, if they don't get a job instant, they are able to start their own businesses, including attachment. Yes, it's also part of the course.
Let's talk about also, obviously, the uniqueness of Tvet courses. What difference is it when somebody comes to compare it with, obviously, university degrees and certificates and diplomas?
One thing I would want to mention, most people have a misconception that because Tvet is hands-on, university degrees are not.
Yes.
That is a misconception. Because it does not mean that a Tvet graduate is more qualified or is able to do more things than a degree holder. Remember, this Tvet graduate is being trained by a degree holder. So if he is going to come out as a sharpened graduate, it means the teacher was sharper.
Yes, the teacher was sharper.
Yes. But what I have said, you know, there is something we call a skills pyramid.
Yes.
I think let me answer that question through that illustration. We have a qualification skills pyramid, which defines each level of qualification.
Yes.
At the top there of the pyramid, that is where we have scientists, we have professors, we have engineers, you know, those people who do research, those people who generate new knowledge, those people who develop policies and guidelines and design systems. Then below that, we have technologists. At the technologists level, this is where now we have the degree holders. These are people now who will conceptualize what the engineers and scientists have done and come up with the designs, maybe of systems. An engineer would think about maybe how a computer would work. He would design a product, but it is a technologist who will come and see how now it works.
Yes.
Then you'll come to the next level of technicians. Technicians is now where we have the diploma level holders. Now, these are the people who will now do the actual construction of that computer machine. These are the people who will service this machine when it is faulty. These are the people who will fix your internet when it is not reaching your computer.
Yes.
Then we, at the other level, we have craftsmen and you also have artisans. To give a clearer illustration, I would give an example of a construction firm. You know, you only need one architect to design this house. Then you need maybe one foreman to come, or a contractor to come now and start the site.
Yes.
Then you would need like 3 or 4 fundis to come and now get the people we call watu wa mkono, you know.
Yes.
The person who will carry stones, the person who will carry sand, the person who will carry cement, and mix them and build the blocks. When you look at that skills pyramid, at the top it is very thin. It is very, you know, you need very few people.
Yes.
But as it comes down, you need so many technicians, you need so many craftsmen, you need, you know, just like in a site, as I've said, you only need one architect, for instance, one electrical engineer, one structural engineer, but you need like 50 people coming down.
Yes.
That is where Tvet now comes in. So from the technicians level down, that is where you need most of the people. So it does not mean that the Tvet programs are more important than the higher level programs, the bachelor's degrees, the master's degrees, and the PhDs. No, they have their space.
Yes.
And it so happens that as you come down, where those programs are, that's where you need more people. In fact, we usually say almost everybody should start from Tvet because we need them there.
Yes.
And Kenya has a shortage of those Tvet graduates. That is why now you see everybody is being told go to Tvet.
Yes.
Because we are looking for plumbers, we are looking for electricians, we are looking for painters, you can't get a good carpenter, you know. And those people are there, but are they trained? So we are looking for the trained and qualified ones. So there is no, it is not factual that a Tvet person is more qualified or is more hands-on than a degree holder.
Yes.
Because in any case, he is trained by this degree holder. What we need to discuss here is the positioning. Where does a Tvet graduate fit in an office? In a construction site, a Tvet graduate will fit to be a foodie and to be that person now who mixes the mortar and the concrete, right?
Yes.
But he cannot come and check the strength of this building. He's not a structural engineer.
Yes.
Therefore, we still need that engineer there.
Yes, very well put. And I'm being reminded because of time, I think we have to wrap up the show unless there's anything else you'd love to add on.
One thing I would want to mention is that there is space and there is room.
Yes.
For everybody who did not attain direct university grades to come to school. Those people should not feel left out. They should not feel that they failed. They should not feel that they did not make it, even if their dreams were to make that. Where they are, it is a platform they can use to grow. And therefore, I would want to encourage them to come and seek opportunities to places like Zetech University. They can come to Zetech and do courses in hospitality. They can come to Zetech and do courses in IT. We have so many courses in IT. We have so many courses in business, accounting, and finance. We have so many courses in journalism and media. We have so many courses in counseling and community development and psychology. We have courses in education. Let them come and see. From D for Delta, they are able to come and do those courses and progress. And our intake is still going on up to the end of this month.
Yes.
Another intake is coming in May. And another thing I would want to mention is that Zetech offers free career guidance and counseling for these people.
Yes.
So they should just walk to any of our campuses. We have a campus in Nairobi, which is called Nairobi City Campus. That is where I am. And they can walk in there and get free advice. They can also invite us in their mosques and other places where they meet, and we come talk to them.
Yes.
And they can also come to our campuses to register or to seek free guidance on their careers.
Thank you so much, Mr. James, for obviously coming in, Mr. Peter, for obviously coming in. And, you know, we talked about Tvet courses. Somebody like me who was not aware what a Tvet course is, you know, the uniqueness of Tvet courses, at least now we've learned a lot. And obviously, as you've mentioned, Zetech College is open. It's an open door policy for anyone who has further questions to come in and answer. So thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm being reminded, just a short announcement before we finish. We know we usually have the annual zonal Quran competitions. I'm being reminded that it kicks off tomorrow. The zonal Quran competition kicks off tomorrow at Masjid Al Farouk in Pumwani. So for anyone who's, Mustafa, maybe you can let me know, because you're the one, Mustafa is here. You could probably let me know a little bit more about the Quran competition. Yes. So Mustafa is reminding us that the Quran competition kicks off tomorrow at Masjid Al Farouk Pumwani. So I think they'll be able to come there tomorrow, right, Mustafa? Oh, perfect. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here on the Muslim Insight. It's been a very lovely discussion. Until next Friday, ma'asalam.